full breakdown and picks for UFC Nashville, Derek Lewis versus Teixeira. I'm going to start from the first fight of the card, working all the way up to the main event, giving my prediction and breakdown for every single fight on the card. I'm going to make a separate video later on during the week, based more on bets, underdogs, props, etc., as I did the previous card. So this is just who I do think is going to win, how I think the fight's going to play out, and then later in the week I will post my betting video, starting with Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. Now, Melissa Martinez is a heavy underdog. She's paying $8 odds, which is ridiculous, plus 750. Fatima Klein will win this one, but $8 odds, with two women that are 7-1 and 8-1, Melissa Martinez isn't good, but she's not terrible. Like, she can win this fight, make no mistake about it, but it's very unlikely, obviously. It's not just like she's a fucking, who's an example I could give. Just, she's not that shit. She's shit, but she's not that shit. To sum it up, I just think Fatima Klein's going to get a 30-27 decision. I think she's just going to outpoint her, maybe get a couple takedowns in there as well. Been seeing a lot of people saying she's going to get the finish. I just don't trust finishes in women's MMA, especially for a young fighter like Fatima Klein. She's not like, it's not like she's got heaps of experience and a bunch of finishes on her record. Like, she's 24 years old. She's less experienced than Melissa. I do believe she's going to dominate, but I just don't think she's going to get the finish. So Fatima Klein by decision is the pick. Moving on. Mitch Ramirez versus Mike Davis. Now, Mitch Ramirez is also another heavy underdog. I'm going to be going with Mike Davis. I think Mike Davis is going to get this done by either a submission or decision. I think he's going to take down Ramirez and more than likely find a submission. I believe probably a head and arm choke. Mitch Ramirez really isn't that any good. I believe he got TKO'd on the Contender Series by Carlos Prates, and he was a favourite going into that, I'm pretty sure, too. And that was at welterweight. Went down to 155. They fought Thiago Moises on short notice. He got dominated and TKO'd with leg kicks. Going to be going with Mike Davis, more experienced. He's been in there with decent level competition lately. Obviously, I don't have good feelings towards Farasiam. I think he's shit, but he's not the worst fighter in the world. It's not like you're losing to fucking or Rafa Garcia or something. It was a 29-28 loss. Had some good scrambles, some good moments, but Mike Davis is going to be the pick. I'm going to go with a second round submission, head and arm triangle, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just won a 30-27, 30-26 decision. Moving on. Volta Walker and Kennedy Nzechukwu. I've been seeing a lot of people going with Kennedy and with Volta Walker on this one. I'm actually going to go with Kenny Nzechukwu. He's fought better competition. He has better wins. I don't trust in Volta Walker. He fought nothing but cans on the regional scene. He lost to Lucas Brzeski. Now, Lucas Brzeski is known in the heavyweight division for just being a layup. He got thrown to Kennedy. Kennedy dealt with him in one round and knocked him out. Bunch of guys, Mick Parkin, he's a decision merchant. Even he got him out of there and TKO'd him. And Volta Walker lost to him. He is young. He does have very good jiu-jitsu. He's 6'6". He's big for the weight class. But I just don't think he's going to be able to get the takedowns here. I don't know. It's not a. I'm not super confident on the pick of Kennedy, but I am going to be picking him. I think he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns, and I think I'm going to go with the Kennedy Nzechukwu decision. Potentially a late finish, but I'm going to go with the decision, 29-28. I think Volta kind of wins round one. Maybe gets him down towards the end, but just holds him against the cage for a lot. Lands some low kicks. Close-ish round, probably edge for Volta, and then Kennedy picks it up in round 2 and 3 and wins a 29-28 decision. Maybe a split decision, but Kennedy's the pick here. He's just the better martial artist. He's got wins over Olberg. He's been in there with guys like Jacoby. He's got wins over Devin Clark. Who else does he have wins over? Eon Cutelaba. Coming off of 2 wins at heavyweight, both finishers, Lucas Brzeski, Chris Barnett. Neither of them are very good, but I mean, at the end of the day, Brzeski did defeat Volta Walker. So we're going to go with Kennedy and Jetchiku here. Not super confident, but I'm going to be picking him by decision. Lauren Murphy versus Eduarda Mora. Now, Lauren Murphy's coming back after a very long layoff. I think her last fight was against Jessica Andrade, where she got dominated. That was on the Jamal Hill Glover card, I believe. Now, that would have been probably 2 years ago, so bit of a layoff for her. I'm going to be going with Eduarda Mora. Seeing a lot of people saying she's going to win by TKO or submission. She's going to get the finish. I'm also going to be taking her by decision. I just don't think she's going to finish her. I don't even think Andrade finished her, but you know, Murphy's been in there with good competition. I think she's good enough to last 15 minutes with Eduarda. Do I think she's good enough to win? Maybe, probably not though. I'm going to be picking Eduarda, but I definitely do think that she is good enough. She's more experienced. She's been in there with the likes of Valentina Shevchenko, Jessica Andrade. I feel like she can last 15 minutes. I definitely could see an upset. I could see her, you know, just kind of weathering an early storm or getting on top and just, you know, out pit for padding rounds and winning a split. But it's unlikely. I'm going to go with Eduarda Mora by probably a 29-28 decision. I'm not really that confident in the pick. I couldn't give a fuck about this fight. I'll probably take a shit while it's on, but yeah, Eduarda Moore is the pick. I'm not going to be betting on her either, but obviously we'll get into bets later in the week. Chidi Njokuani versus Jake Matthews. Going to be picking Chidi Njokuani. I believe he's the better striker. He's going to have good enough takedown defense in this fight, and he's going to keep it on the feet and just pick him apart. Chidi Njokuani has really good teeps. He has hard kicks. Like, he has a lot of power in his kicks is something I notice. Like, he's not just like tapping at the leg, you know, teep, you know, racking up points. He's really like stabbing those teeps out, like right in your solar plexus. He's really like slamming the fucking his shit into your calf. Like, he's got power. He's got great kickboxing. He is on the older side of 36, but I feel like Jake Matthews just isn't good enough. Jake Matthews is kind of like a 50-50 fighter. Like, he gets a win or two, then he gets a loss, a win or two, a loss. Never really been able to break the rankings as of late. But I'm going to go with Chidi Njokuani by a decision. I think he's going to win a 29-28 decision. Definitely do think Jake Matthews could get a takedown maybe in round 1 or 2, but I think that the longer the fight goes on, it's going to favour Chidi Njokuani with the damage he's going to do to Jake Matthews' body with the teep kicks and the damage he's potentially going to do to his lead leg. I feel like he's going to chew up that calf if he's smart, play at range, and just outpoint him. Close odds on this one. But I do like Chidi Njokuani for that price. He's coming off of a great performance against Aleksei dos Santos, where he knocked him out in the second round. So yeah, Chidi Njokuani is going to be the pick here. Moving on to Chris Curtis versus Max Payne Griffin. Going to be going with Chris Curtis in this fight. Moving down to 170 against Max Griffin. Max Griffin's dog shit. That's just to sum it all up. He's got some, you know, half decent wins. Jeremiah Wells. Fucking can't even remember who else. He's got a couple okay wins, but he's never really, you know, got those next level wins to kind of put him into the top 15. He's got a very low output. I'm even surprised it's 3.7 significant strikes landed per minute. I feel like that's kind of carried from early on in his career, and as he's older, it's just dropped off. It's probably at 1 or 2 now. Yeah, that fight with Michael Chiesa, he's coming off that third round submission loss to Michael Chiesa. He just looks shit. He looked so bad in that fight. Like, I remember thinking when that fight was on, like, I'm not betting on either of these two in their next fights. Like, they're so shit. Max Griffin just wouldn't throw. Like, he literally, like, it just looked like he could have got Chiesa out of there. Like, if he just went forward and started, throwing his combinations and boxing, he could have got Chiesa out of there. He could have even just out tit-for-tatted him and won a decision, but he just chose not to throw. Like, he didn't even attempt to throw any, like, leg kicks or jabs or anything. It was just a snooze fest, and he just accepted a loss. Chris Curtis, though, is active, nearly double the significant strikes landed per minute. He's coming off of that loss to Roman Kopylov, where it was a decision loss. Let's make no mistake about it. Mark Smith's a retard for stopping the fight with 1 second left. Yeah, it was a decision loss. He probably won one round. It was a 29-28 decision, but obviously, technically, it's a TKO. It is what it is. I'm going to be picking Chris Curtis to win a 30-27 in this one. Maybe we see, one of those little moments you see every now and then where Curtis is going to be up 2-0, and then Griffin just kind of like tries to rally in the third round. His coach is telling him he needs a finish. He comes out, lands like 1 or 2 right hands. Then everyone's like, oh, watch out. And then he just gives up again and accepts a decision loss. But I'm going to pick Chris Curtis by decision. Junior Taffa versus Tuco Tokus. Or Tukus. How the fuck you say it. Both these guys shouldn't be in the UFC, just to sum it all up. Both terrible, both dog shit. Junior Taffa's an embarrassment. He's a fucking idiot. Salty as fuck after his last fight against Walter Walker. Or that may have been his second recent fight. He did get a win by second round knockout against a can on short notice, and then he, thought he was a beast, but he's fucking terrible. Tuco Tokus is terrible as well. Tuco trains out of Killcliff, so he's got good bodies to train with. Trains with Brendan Allen a lot, guys like that. Always see him training with Brendan Allen, Gregory Rodriguez, Angelusa, but it's a hard fight to predict. I think Tuco has the better cardio, I would say. He didn't even look that bad against Navajo Sterling. Like, he won the third round and he, stayed in there. I feel like if Taffa doesn't get a KO in the first 8 minutes, I feel like there's definitely a chance Tuco can take him down and wear on him. But that's the thing, though, that 8-minute mark, will Taffa do enough in the first half of that second round to get that round as well? Because it's a 3-round fight. You need to get 2 rounds. Very good chance that Taffa gets round 1, round 2. It's Taffa starts out strong, then gasses, and then Tuco takes it, and then Tuco gets a third. Could see it being a split decision close one, but I just think Taffa by first round knockout. And if that doesn't occur, then it's just going to be Tuco grinding out a decision or just trying to get the takedowns. Could be one of those fights where both guys gas. So yeah, you could look for a live bet here for it to go the distance, or Tuco after round 1 if he survives. I'm not going to get heavy into bets. We're going to save that for a video later in the week. But on the pick, I'm going to go with Junior Taffa. I feel like 3-round fight. I feel like he's going to be able to take round 1, most of round 2, I think. And even if he loses round 3, obviously he's going to have the 29-28 decision. I think Junior Taffa is going to win a decision. I can see this fight going so many ways. I can see Tuco getting the decision win, taking him down. I can see Taffa getting the knockout in round 1, or being a snooze fest where they both gas. They both have shit gas tanks. Fuck this fight, honestly. They're both shit. I'm just going to pick Taffa by decision, but it could go either way. Vitor Petrino versus Austin Lane. Now, I am not betting on Vitor Petrino. I am not confident in Vitor Petrino at all. Austin Lane can win this fight. He's a big underdog. Now, he's shit, but he can fucking win this fight. 100%. Because of the circumstances that are occurring for Vitor Petrino, he's coming off of 2 losses. One to Anthony Smith where he got submitted. It was his first career loss. And then, you come in your next fight that fight with Dustin Jacoby, he just looks super hesitant, and he has looked hesitant at times where he just like kind of wants to accept a decision. He also did this in the Tyson Pedro fight. He didn't want to go forward. He was just happy with winning a decision. Like he doesn't want to put himself in danger to like try and get the finish. Um, Beat Hidalgo Bilardo twice. He's got a win over him on the Contender Series and on the regional scene as well. Knocked him out cold in the Contender Series fight, but did get dropped in that, did get hurt. Um, Even the fight with Anton Turkalj, like, you can't be having a war with Anton Turkalj. He is terrible. He's out of the UFC now. He never won in the UFC. So it's just, yeah, you can't be losing to Anton Turkalj. Not losing, but having a war with him. The thing is, though, you're coming off of those two losses. One's a bad KO. You're moving up to heavyweight, and you're fighting one of the biggest heavyweights that there are, 250 pounds, 6'6" Austin Lane. If Austin Lane had better cardio, I'd almost be tempted to pick him. I am tempted to pick him, but I would almost be tempted to pick, like, I'd probably be picking him if he had better cardio, just because he becomes very terrible defensively after round one. But that's the thing, like, Petrino's already a hesitant fighter. Like, look at his stats. 2.8 significant strikes landed per minute. And now you're going up against a bigger guy in a weight class you've never fought off of, coming off of two losses and a long layoff, and you just got knocked out cold. Like, if Austin Lane's ever going to beat Petrino, it's right now, and it's coming off of these circumstances. Austin Lane even dropped Mario Pinto in round one in his last fight, and I think Pinto would beat Petrino. Pinto's a heavyweight prospect on the come up, undefeated coming off of the Contender Series, but Austin Lane, I could see him grinding out a decision like he did in the Rebellis to Spain fight, just kind of out tit for tatting him, and then when it gets close, getting the takedowns. I feel like Petrino's takedown defense isn't that good, but I really want to pick Lane. I really want to pick Lane. I just know if I do, like, I'm just going to get laughed at and he's going to get fucking knocked out cold. And then if I don't, he's just going to fucking win. Fuck it. I'm going to pick Austin Lane to win a decision. But I'm not so confident in it. I just think both of them are shit. I wouldn't be surprised if Petrino wins a decision either. So definitely look for that as a heavy favourite. He's probably got he's a probably heavy favourite to win by knockout, by decision, very likely. He wins by decision often, so yeah. I'm gonna pick Austin Lane. Fuck it. But I'm not gonna pick Austin Lane. I'm gonna pick Petrino by decision, but there's a very good chance Lane can win this fight. He shouldn't be that big of an underdog. Petrino's not that good. Vitor Petrino 29-28 decision is the pick. Fucking took too long on that. Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charrier. Bit of a sleeper fight on the card. I'm going to go with Morgan Charrier. I don't think Nate Landwehr is good at all. He's not good technically. He's 37. I didn't even know he was that old. I thought he was about 34, 35. But Morgan Charrier, 29. Beat Chepe Mariscal. Don't give a fuck what the judges say. He won that fight. Didn't look that good in his last fight, though, against Nathaniel Wood. But I don't mind that, though. A bit of a learning curve for him. He's got a ton of experience. He's still only 29. Like, this guy's he's talented. He's got good striking. He's got good power in his hands. He's got decent cardio, too. I think a guy like Landwehr, I feel like he's just going to land that shot. I'm going to pick Morgan Charrier by second round knockout. Nate Landwehr just gets hit a whole bunch, and he doesn't have a good chin either. Bro got knocked out by fucking Herbert Burns. Like, can't have that loss on your resume. So I'm going to pick Morgan Charrier by second round knockout is the pick. He's just the better striker. Now, Nate Landwehr definitely has a chance to win if it, gets into round two or something, and Morgan Charrier kind of hurts him and, uses a bit of his gas tank and fumbles the finish. Then, that's where Landwehr kind of takes over, like in the David Onama fight. But Morgan Charrier is the pick here. He's just way more quicker, more technical. He's younger. I'm going to pick him by a second round knockout. Calvin Kattar versus Steve Garcia. Now, bit of a hint, Calvin Kattar is going to be my underdog of the week. Steve Garcia is not good. He is not good. I'm seeing so many people say, "Oh, this is a 37-year-old Calvin coming off of a leg surgery and losses he hasn't won in ages." And I've been saying Calvin Kattar by finish, and people are like, "Oh, who's the last guy Calvin Kattar finished?" And that happens all the time when I pick guys that are in these type of fights. Oh, he hasn't won by finish in years, and then that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. Every matchup is a new matchup. Every style is a new style. They've never fought each other. Steve Garcia, he constantly gets dropped. He's been knocked out by Machete. He got dropped 4 times in one fight. I cannot remember his name. It was at the Apex. It was on a couple of years ago. But it was a guy with the name Charlie or Oliver or something. He's big XQC looking guy. Southpaw karate stance kickboxer, dog shit. I even think his record was like 11-7 at the time when he fought Steve. And Steve had a war with him. Steve ended up getting him out of there in round 3, but Steve got dropped 4 times by him, and he's a fucking can. Out of the UFC. Knocked out cold by Machete. Fucking, I don't even know if he's in the UFC anymore. I think he is, but he's not getting wins, I know that. And then that fight with Becker gets dropped twice. You're getting clipped and picked apart by Becker. He's not in the UFC either. And then, he gets a win over Chase Hooper, and people overhype it because Chase Hooper's got hype on his name just because he looks like a nerd, and it's like, oh my god, he beat Chase Hooper, and then he fucking beats Kyle Nelson and Soo Wong Choi. Like, these are all, like, such low-level competition to Calvin Kattar. Look at Calvin Kattar's last opponents, like Max Holloway, Arnold Allen, Aljamain Sterling, Yusuf Zalal. Aljamain Sterling's a fucking former champion. Max Holloway, former champion. Arnold Allen is a top 5 featherweight, you know? And people think Steve Garcia is going to go out here and just overpower Calvin Kattar and get him out of there in round 1. Not even Josh Emmett could do that. He ain't getting dropped or knocked down by Josh Emmett. He's not getting fucking knocked out by Steve Garcia, who has less power and worse at boxing. He's not good, bro. He's not fucking good. And he's not good technically either. He just relies on overpowering his opponents, walking forward, and he's just an aggression merchant. He can do that like against a low-level competition in the featherweight division outside of the rankings, because it's not good competition outside of the top 15, 20 in the featherweight division. Like, Soo Wong Choi and Kyle Nelson are dog shit. Like, you can do that against them, but then when you get a guy who's got more experience than you, Calvin Kattar, he's never been knocked out. Let's keep that in mind. Never been knocked out. All these champions fail to drop him, let alone knock him out. And you guys think Steve Garcia is going to come in here and get him out of there? I think exactly what's going to happen. We're going to see Steve Garcia, the fight's going to play out. Calvin's going to play at range, move around. He's going to kick the leg. He's going to use his jab. And about the 2-minute mark, Steve Garcia is going to try and do his bullshit where he just rushes in with zero technicality, zero fucking form, and he's just going to throw caution to the winds and with his chin up in the air. And I feel like Calvin's going to be kind of against the fence, or he's just going to land a counter right hand or a left hook and just wobble him, and then you're going to see Calvin follow up and chase him. Steve's running away, dangling everywhere. He's just going to finish him. That's exactly how I see the fight playing out, similar to Rob Font and Adrian Yanez. That's exactly how I see the fight playing out. And it's funny, I say that because Steve Garcia and Yanez are like similar in the sense to prospect boxers who are knocking out everyone coming up, and then Kattar and Font are train out of the same gym. They're teammates and they have the same style, the same guard, and they're the veteran, crafty vet who's still in the top 15. Who's been there and done that and fought the who's who. That's how I see the fight going out. I think Kattar's, he's defensively intelligent enough to weather those shots and slip and counter shot Garcia on his way in. Garcia's boxing isn't good, but I'm going to be picking Calvin Kattar by first round knockout. Bold pick, a lot of people are going to say, but I'm actually very confident in this one. I'm not a Steve Garcia believer at all. Co-main event, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfim. I actually do believe Thompson has a good chance at taking the dub in this one. I'm not a Gabriel Bonfim believer at all. Terrible striking, terrible on the feet, doesn't have a good gas tank, looked like shit against Angelusa, won like a 29-28 in that one. Obviously, he got fraud checked by Nicholas Dalby. I just think it's pretty simple. If Wonderboy can stop the takedowns, he's going to win. If he can't, he's not going to win. But that's the thing, though, like when Wonderboy, Gabriel keeps shooting and shooting and shooting. Once it gets, if he doesn't get down Wonderboy in round one and submit him, what happens when it gets to round two? And Wonderboy's still, he's not even breathing out of his mouth. Gabriel Bonfim's got his mouth open. He's walking flat-footed. And then you see fucking, boom, like karate kick to the stomach, boom, kick to the lead leg, bang, now he's going up high. And he's just in your face, back and forth, hop, hop, hop. I feel like it goes similar to the Vicente Luque fight, where Wonderboy just gasses him out and just takes over. Definitely a possibility. I am going to go with Bonfim. I feel like Bonfim's going to win a split decision. That's my official prediction. I feel like he's going to start strong and fade as the fight goes on. Similar to what I was saying with the fight I was talking about earlier, where once it goes to the second, with Junior Taffa and Tuco Tukas, I think Gabriel Bonfim will win round one, and then, maybe part of round two will get him down, Wonderboy will get back up, and then Wonderboy will win round three. I feel like it's going to be a close fight. I'm going to go with Gabriel Bonfim, though, by split decision. Wouldn't be surprised if Wonderboy got it done. Definitely not a heavy believer on Bonfim. On to the main event. Derek Lewis versus Talishan Teixeira. Very simple pick here. Talishan Teixeira is going to get Derek Lewis out of there. Derek Lewis, he's not a good technical fighter at all. He's just, all these wins pretty much are just off the right hand, the big bomb overhand. Obviously, power is last to go. He's very old. He's 40. He's fighting a fighter 15 years younger, which is crazy. If Talishan fights smart, he should get Lewis out of there within 2 rounds with ease, with barely getting hit. If he comes forward like a fucking idiot, he could get knocked out. He needs to take his time, just like how Garn did. You've got 5 rounds to work. Just pick at him. Kick the leg. Teep. Move on the back foot. As he tries to close the distance and look for that big bomb, jab. Kick the leg again, teep. Continue to go to his body as well. Just break him down. And then when he, just pepper him with the jab. Land 50 jabs in round one if you have to. And then, when he thinks you're just throwing the jab, then bang, right hand after it. And, start going to the body. Start slamming that leg. He can pick him apart here. The only way Talishan is going to lose is if he comes out like an idiot with a terrible game plan and he doesn't fight smart and he gets caught. If he fights smart, if he's patient, if he takes his time, he's going to easily beat Derek Lewis. Talishan Teixeira is the pick. I'm going to pick Talishan via first round TKO. I think it's going to be first or second, I believe, but I'm going to go with a first round TKO about the 4-minute mark. I feel like he's going to tape Lewis to the body. Maybe he's going to, kind of lean over as if he's hurt. And I feel like Talishan's not going to get like an out cold KO. He's just going to kind of wobble him and get a TKO. The end of round one. Look at the significant strikes landed per minute difference. Like Lewis is 40. Can't remember the last time he fought as well. I think it was Buckley versus someone on the card. Who was it? Buckley Luque, maybe? Buckley Ruzaboev, I don't think. I don't know, but it was quite a while ago, his last fight against Rodrigo Nascimento, I believe. Won that. Nascimento's a can. He's off in the PFL, but going to be picking Talishan Teixeira. That's my full breakdown and picks for the card. Not doing a heavy breakdown on every fight as, it's a fight night. I'm not going to go too in-depth. I'm going to kind of break it down a bit more on my betting video, just because obviously I'm going to have to explain reasons why I'm picking the certain outcome that I'm putting my money on. So, yeah, those are all my picks and predictions. I'm going to post a betting video later in the week with lock of the week, underdog of the week, a couple of props as well for you guys. If you would have bet $100 or $10 or $1 on all the bets that I gave out on UFC 317, you would have had a profitable night. We did go 2 for 5 on the bets I gave out though, but we did hit that Terence McKinney round 1 submission paying $6.20. We did hit Beneil Dariush as an underdog. Lock of the week failed, but I'm very confident in this week's lock of the week. Very, very confident. So stay tuned for that. Going to give you out some props as well. And yeah, look to make some money later in the week. Going to be posting that in a couple of days. See you guys then.